Welcome back. Haikyuu starting up once again with a certain amount of trepidation, really waiting on those exam results, doing so much to be able to pass the tests. Although, once it actually rolls around, how are they going to do under pressure? The future of the games is at stake, and although they have put in some effort, is really enough? Volleyball is not the only thing we have to take care of right now. English, literature, mathematics, science, all of these things are put to the test as well. My only worries is, while we're focusing on these four, Nishinoya, Tanaka, Kageyama and Hinata, are any of the others going to slip through the gaps that we weren't wary of? We're going to have to find out. We're going to have to take the exams. We're going to have a hell of a lot of worry. This is exactly what I've been waiting for all week. Watching more Haikyuu, seeing how the new temp manager gets on. If she's still terrified at every occasion. Great. So they're now worried about funding as well. And what a conversation for her to overhear at this time. I don't think that might be an issue. But for him to sacrifice his own funding fee to be able to get a bus for the team, to be fair, it wouldn't actually be that much. They are stupid, but that's what makes them so endearing. How straightforward they are really counterbalances some of the others. Townsperson B. She sees herself as nothing more than an NPC or an extra in her own life. We really need to root for this Townsperson B even further now. I mean, you might have some more issues there than. Yeah. Having a team that they've had affiliations with get through, wishing them well. That's sportsmanship. And I've already seen it a lot so far in the 2 short episodes I've seen. But there's a lot more comedic elements that I can guess throughout the rest of the season. And they're going to hit a lot harder. I think also having a character like her crop up now, a bit late after an entire season, but I can relate to not knowing a solitary thing about volleyball, being pulled into this out of thin air. But if they're already having money issues with getting a bus, what are they going to get for the rest of the season? Rest of, well, the club's runtime. Townsperson B, that's the title, okay. A business-focused mother. It's a draft. It's the most attractive-looking flyer that the team has had for a while. Actually, not being completely dismissive in it, at least giving a... Okay, being a bit matter-of-fact about it, but yeah, I suppose if you're being called in for a manager and you're not invested in it. But for a character like her who's so timid about everything, yeah, there might be a bit of a compounding issue. She wasn't cut out for it in the first place. Really testing her resolve just right from the offset. Has yet to fill it out. So just like her, she was completely new to this. Yeah, sometimes things don't come out through planning, it's all spur of the moment action. But sometimes, yeah, the best things happen when we don't quite expect it. Already giving up so easily. In the gutter, terrible. Best not we don't talk about them. Getting ready for a little bit of an audience there. That's his own get ready routine. But just because it's a practice match doesn't mean he has to go easy. Well, that's the issue. Very straightforward and easy answer. If he doesn't go all out, what's he going to learn? Do you need a reason to breathe? He takes it as like that. It comes so naturally. It comes so naturally to him. Not quite the same. The same line of thought I had, but pretty close. I mean, not completely inane. Really going over vocabulary now. Is inane that uncommon of a word? Despite the difference in stature, he's not fazed. Compared to his intensity. Perfect. We've seen that kind of that kind of surf before. They've really made a name for themselves. Just a few new members, some extra effort being put in. The ultimate decoy. Getting warmed up and ready before the match. Really? It's a bit different from his regular ponytail, but I like it. Ah, hair loss. Number one issue. He's a bit... He gets a bit worked up when talking about baldness, isn't he? Yeah, a true murder. They may fight and joke amongst themselves, but when things actually get going, they're tight-knit. This is a completely new experience for them. Is she understanding what it means to get really into volleyball? Still got to... Might need a rundown of the actual rules then. Yeah, that was the point. Really showing off what it means to be this reformed team. And the one that had doubted them, mocked them from the onset without seeing their current status. You know, everyone kind of doesn't really notice the runt of the litter. Making up for anything his opponent might have over him. And still that's not enough. But as a practice match, what one hell of a way to introduce your temporary manager. Coming on. Yeah, there's no real segue or anything, it's just straight into be our manager. Is she worthy of being the manager? Sounds about right. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't have much of a stage presence to be a tree. I don't really remember school plays and performances and the like. She doing research of her own? Actually putting in the effort. Didn't expect her French poster either. They need all the help they can get. Tab him. Hey. Gotta keep practicing that vocabulary. At least he's got it on his mind. Head for even greater hopes and heights. Getting her really on board to be the manager, getting... Why did that bye-bye sound so weird? There's some away games and the like. They don't really have a lot of time to really hash things out properly. The fact that he is so worried about her, realizing that the relationship between her and her mother isn't exactly rock solid. And then you'll be set. How could you go wrong with two managers? Of course, a reason for him to double back. Wow, his book looks worse than any of mine ever did. And of course, he's now going to be a rock for her issues now. If he... Can I finish my sentence? If he can get over mistakes like that and keep playing, then anyone can carry on, can't they? He's not one to really mince his words. If he's got something to say, he'll say it. Yeah, and she hasn't been doing a lot of cardio. This might be... might be a bit too much for her. To be fair, I think any amount of running would be too much for me. A light jog might be too much. Really building up that self-confidence, her self-worth, getting invested in something. Sometimes apparently being completely straight-laced or straight to the point is exactly what you needed. They made it! Fight on, Townsperson B. I think... Is that the strength that she wanted her to have? It's a start on her journey. Manager get. She's so proud. Or horrified. That was meant to be a private conversation. But for... Nathan McGee always says patiently. I mean, sure, there's ways of memorization, but for them it might be more confusing than it needs to be. And since she has shown resolve, she's going to be a bit more involved herself. Good thing the mother is part of what, did she say, a design company? That's a fairly big monitor. Good to see them getting along after it seemed so, well, a little frosty before. Is this the poster that was designed for them? Really bringing in the crowds, bringing in the money. Aww. The shot that has inspired so many of us. Of course it would bring in just some light Photoshop skills to get it all together. Is it the picture, the poster, or the words which really hit him hardest? Modern literature, English and maths. Oh no. Immediately effective. Very nice. And she is now formally part of the team. This might be... Put in some effort! Damn glasses! But yeah, that kind of greeting might be a little too much for her. At the moment we've been... I see some of them are doing better than others. I'm not sure Nishiyama is really having a fully balanced diet there of paper. Some awaiting the news, others fully accepting their fate. But apparently we'll have to wait till next episode to see if they all manage to squeak through. And with such a change of heart, someone breaking their boundaries and reaching greater heights, not physical aptitude or anything, but her own self-worth, showing it to both herself and her mother. Quite good for one episode of growth. I believe I've said it before in pretty much any kind of slice of life type thing where they follow this normal kind of school regime of study and exams, but I never actually really tried. Studying really wasn't for me. I think I managed for about 15 minutes and then I have to find something else to do for about 7 hours. Luckily, I'm one of those annoying bastards that wouldn't even be on the radar of needing to study to be able to pass for the exams, but for the likes of Hinata putting in the extra effort, going to those study sessions, trying his hardest while also maintaining all of the training for volleyball. That's far too much effort for the likes of me. If you think of how this practice match went, sure, the other team might not have been taking it entirely seriously because it was just a practice match and some of our team got a little fired up. But it shows that those that aren't paying attention, those who still mark the Crows as being this weak team who has fallen from great heights, are in for a rude awakening. And I've said it before, there are times when I really want to be able to get fired up and really into something to that extent. I don't think that would ever happen watching a sport on TV. If I was there in person at, courtside, might be a bit easier to get really into the moment. But I think something that would help her, especially, is when you are surrounded in an environment where people are so intense and into what they're doing. Just that energy alone would be enough to kind of pick you up slightly. And it seems as though the short time that she spent studying, watching volleyball and the players, she seems to be enjoying it. Good for Townsperson B. And as the money starts rolling in, they might not just be able to afford a bus. Imagine what they can do with all of that extra income. Number 10, really showing what he means when he said, when he was going on about not being, he's not tall, he's not strong, but he can fly. We definitely saw it. Definitely hit hard as well. For him to be the inspiration, unsung inspiration for her to bring out this side of herself, that's quite impressive. Considering he's not doing anything other than being himself. And apparently, sometimes that's a good thing. Who knew? But if you've enjoyed Haikyuu once again, well, just let me know. If you leave a like on the video and a comment down below, it shows your love for the series. Subscribing gets you more. Honestly, who could turn down that offer? So unless you want to head over into my Discord, get yourselves a bit of rest. See you on the next one. It really isn't a stretch to say that my patrons have given me the courage to continue the way I am, for better or worse, forging my way down this path you have made for me. I need to thank Electricant, Noku, Raywin, Kite, Sal, Shiwan, Matt, Skirly, Cardboard, Croyville, Ginterman, Jennifer Rojas, Dark Shadow 7899, Mega 42, Jeremiah, Tima, Finesse Kid, and everyone else. I will continue to learn along the way, but don't expect me to pass any exams.